What's up, guys? In today's interview, I sat down with Jake Alexander from Casual E-commerce, and we talk about the future of dropshipping and how to succeed in 2018 and beyond. We share lot of thoughts, and we talked about a lot of different topics in this space. So make sure that you watch the whole interview. I'm sure that you will learn a lot. Also, make sure that you check out Jake's channel. It's in the description. So now I wish you a lot of fun with the interview. All right, guys, welcome to this little session with Jake and me here today. And we wanted to talk about the future of dropshipping, of e-commerce in general, so 2018 and beyond, what to keep in mind when you really want to grow and take your business to the next level. So we wanted to talk about all kind of things here that you can do to improve and get ahead of the competition. So yeah, Jake, let us have this talk and see what we can deliver here today.
Yeah, let's see where this goes.
Yeah. Right. Awesome. Yeah. So last time we talked, we had this interview on your channel. We were already talking about this topic a little bit. And, many people now go from, I think the biggest trend is going from like low ticket dropshipping with Facebook ads and all these things to medium or high ticket dropshipping with still Facebook ads, but also Google AdWords, influencers and stuff like this. So generally, I think the product prices increase. This is probably one of the biggest trends that I see right here. What's your opinion on that? I personally think that, for the future, it becomes more and more important because dropshipping in a nutshell is always about acquiring a customer. And this will be super hard with cheap items, right? So if the item costs $10, how do you really afford to acquire the customer?
Yeah, I mean, regarding low ticket and stuff like that, I feel like at this point, as competitive as it is now, the only real way to profit off of that, not that you can't, but the main way to do it is it's kind of like you have to find like fidget spinner-esque items, and you kind of just have to ride the wave of like a super hot product. As far as like, how can I put it? So like an average product, maybe like something that may have worked, well with Facebook in 2016, that type of stuff doesn't really seem to be doing as well in 2018, at least with like direct to product ads. So like if you're going to do items that aren't like fidget spinner hot, then you have to go ahead and implement other types of things as well, like other stages into the funnel, because most likely your direct to product ad, if we're speaking about Facebook, isn't really going to be profiting on the front end anymore from what I've seen. And mainly with low ticket, the majority of your profit's going to be coming from retargeting, but even that's getting, more and more competitive by the day. And especially one thing I've noticed this year is it doesn't seem as much worth the effort to, because you put in the same amount of marketing effort and everything for low ticket as you would for like high ticket. So it doesn't really make sense for me personally to put in the same amount of time for, a smaller return.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally. And especially what you said about the trend products. In this case, people know about it. People are actually open to buy that. And normally CPA drops significantly. And especially you get a ton of engagement on Facebook, which makes it all relative, right? So in this case, when the CPA go down by 50% or 70%, then it can be super useful. But for a normal store that is like running continuously evergreen products, I think this is almost impossible. So one way to tackle that, and this is something that you actually told me that I think is really interesting, is to have like one general store for trending products, for new trends to arrive, and you ride the wave for like a few weeks or a month or so, and then it's gone. But at the same time, having like niche stores where you put your real focus on. So this is like your main project, and then you have one general store, one general business with like testing the trends, hopping on them, hopping off, but more like getting a quick buck from this store. What's your approach to this from what you told me?
Yeah, definitely. Being kind of the addict that I am when it comes to e-com and stuff, I can't not see a hot product and just immediately want to test it. I mean, it is fun. It's fun to ride the waves and everything. So this year I've transitioned more to just, as far as low ticket, my only low ticket store is just a general store, because I just test out hot products like you said on there. But it's not really something that I'm putting like super long-term focus on or anything. It's just like, it's there. If I see a trend, I can hop on it because, I think every single internet marketer sold a few fidget spinners when that was big. You know, the opportunity, you know, you can definitely make a good amount of money selling like, you know, little trinkets like that as well. However, that's not really like, it's always like kind of chasing the rabbit over and over again. So if that's like your only income source from ecom, it can kind of tire you out. So I feel like the best strategy, at least for me, is to have that general store, like I said, just to test, you know, hop on trends, don't miss any trends. You can test out certain niches and things, test the water with certain audiences, but to have other niche stores that you can actually build brands around, whether it's via, you know, higher ticket drop shipping items or even, you know, like private labeling your own products, which is probably the best way to go in regards to building something that's going to like create money for years and years to come. So that's kind of my current plan right now.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I think private labeling is still probably one of the biggest things that people should do, especially now with in the next month and years. So far, the problem I think is that so far you don't really have much room to really advertise your products if you sell the same as everyone else with the same designs and everything, because then, you know, it's very hard to write a great product description and have great photos when it's all not really yours and when you cannot tell like this is my stuff. But once you have your own packaging and your own like designs on it, probably like not even just your logo, but probably you can also design the whole thing a little bit more, the whole product packaging, as I said. This is where it becomes interesting, because then you can really hand it to influencers and suddenly everything becomes much more effective when an influencer has your package and it's super awesomely designed, and people remember it and people recognize it and go to your page because of that. I think this is where like all the magic happens, in a way where people like really when people think that there is a reason to actually buy from you and not from someone else, and that you can build the whole store around it from a branding and design perspective.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I feel like e-commerce as a whole, the most important thing is just branding in itself. Because I mean, if you look at like huge e-com stores like Kylie Jenner's makeup store and stuff, like those makeup brushes, you know, they're just piece of garbage makeup brushes. They're like $10, but she's selling them for like $200+. And she's only able to do that because of the personal brand and everything she's built. And same with like, you know, Logan Paul, when he sold all of his merchandise on Black Friday and stuff. You build out these brands and it allows you to sell what is essentially, you know, a simpler product with way higher margins just because of the brand name that's established. You know, that goes the same with all the big clothing stores and everything. So when you create your own product or have it like private labeled, it makes building a brand around it a lot easier, because like you said, you can have, you know, custom packaging and everything. So when you send it out to influencers, they actually, you know, they're going to remember your brand, versus if you send like a random AliExpress product out to influencers, that, you know, there's nothing, they're not going to have that emotional attachment to, you know, versus like when you order a new iPhone, you know, you see the Apple box and everything. So it's kind of like, you know, an experience to where, you know, it goes in your head and you remember the brand, versus, you know, you get a random package with, you know, it's usually there's really terrible yellow folders and there's like just one random piece of paper in there and stuff, you know. So it's not really a memorable brand experience for sure. And, you know, while that works with like hot, trendy products and stuff, that's not a way to create repeat customers. And having repeat customers is the key to, you know, actually having a sustainable long-term income source, versus, you know, always chasing new customers left and right, because that's just getting more and more expensive. While if you get the same customer to buy from you again, that's going to be a fraction of the cost.
Exactly. And this is also, and this is also the point where you can, I mean, where you can at some point build an asset with your business, right? So when you can sell it at some point, I still to this day, I don't understand why people buy regular dropshipping businesses. So why people buy like a general store? Because to me, the only value in a dropshipping store is like the current ad campaign that is running. And if that is a great campaign and you buy it like at peak, this is great. But if the store, like let's say the store has no ad campaign running right now, and it's like, hey, we made 200,000 in sales over the past 6 months, but you can almost always tell that the email list is not that valuable, because people usually don't buy again, at least very rarely. and you know that you can only make more money from the store if you build a new successful ad campaign. So I think prices for selling stores will go down because people realize, if I buy the store, I don't really have value in it. And if you have this brand, and if you have the stock, and if you get people that would buy again, and you at some point have this short shipping times, then you can tell, hey, we have 10,000 people on our list, we have 300,000 in past sales. If you buy this now, you get it with this stock, and you get it with all our brand assets. And this, I think, is also where you can sell stores for like tens or hundreds of thousands then, which is another advantage, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I never really personally understood why, people were out there buying a ton of drop shipping stores when there's really no, hard asset that you're buying.
Yeah.
Really. Like you said, if you buy it at the peak of an ad campaign, then maybe you can get a good ROI. But in that sense, I don't know what smart person would sell their store at the peak of an ad campaign, especially because at that point you're just printing money. So I don't know who would really do that. So most likely, if you're buying one that's had, past success and everything, but you got to think, well, why is the person selling it? Probably because it's not generating as much revenue now, and they're trying to exit while their revenue numbers look good. But when it's something like drop shipping products, when it's like, just trinkets and stuff with no brand whatsoever, the value is going to be a lot lower than if even if you just have one solid branded product where, your customers, they're leaving really good reviews. They have a relationship with your brand. Your email list is actually responsive because, if you email list for like AliExpress drop shipping products is way less responsive than your typical email list.
Yep.
And that's because, like I said, they got their product, but they're most likely, they probably weren't stoked about waiting 3 weeks or anything. And, they weren't exactly welcomed into the brand with the packaging or everything. So they really have no reason to open your emails moving forward. So, while it may seem like we're both just completely bashing this business model, I mean, well, I guess we kind of are, but at the same time, like, it's not that it doesn't work, but it's just that it's so much more competitive that for me personally, like I said, it's only really worth having the one general store just to ride a few trends here and there and test stuff out, because, that is the CPMs and everything keep getting higher and higher. You're putting in, more and more work for smaller and smaller returns instead of just, establishing brands that are going to be there for the long term, So.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, it seems like bashing probably, and it's what could be the impression when you look at some of my videos. But in the end, I mean, it's all about what has the highest chance of succeeding, right? So in the end, I mean, what we just described is just a harder way to do it effectively. So if you do it the other way, theoretically it can still be drop shipping. There is no problem in that. But if you have to choose, if I would have to start now from zero, I would definitely go with, well, probably a general store and trends, etc. But as a main store, I would pick a niche, maybe even one that I'm passionate about. You always hear this thing like, hey, passionate, but there is some truth in there that you can really build content for it. I mean, if you have a store with a cool blog with some cool images and some cool resources, and you build everything and it's specific, and you really give people in this niche a reason to buy from you, this is, I think, where your chances are suddenly like 10 times higher than with an average general store. Your email list becomes more responsive, everything. So when it comes to like bashing dropshipping, really, I think it's move away from the simple dropshipping and go to this like more professional dropshipping or stock fulfillment in the first place. Because I still see when I had a video where I reviewed some of my subscriber stores, and I noticed that many people were still having these very, very simple stores where everything is, some of them looked like a little bit unfinished still. And this is definitely the way where your chance of success is like 1%, 2%, maybe 5%. And I think that you would rather do something where your chance is like 30 or 50 or 70 or something like that. So of course it's more work, but still, it's the highest chance.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to low ticket, a quick tip for everyone watching for low ticket: if you want to sell these low ticket, AliExpress drop shipping items now, you can't really put up these same piece of garbage stores that worked a while ago. I mean, I never really understood who was teaching that anyway, but I guess when a product was that hot, 2-3 years ago, you could get away with it. But now you need to make your store look like it's not even a drop shipping store, especially with low ticket items. You need to look like, because like you said, with a general store, you're kind of competing with Amazon and stuff. So you need to look like it's like Amazon. You need to look like, you're not your typical run of the mill drop shipping store on Brooklyn theme with no logo and everything,
Classic. Yeah.
Like, you can do simple things like getting a phone number, getting a forwarding number put on your store. You can, if you have to, if you're not good at design, hire someone, pay someone a couple $100 to go ahead and make the store look a little bit better. So that way it's going to convert higher, look more professional. Make sure you have like a memorable logo and everything. So that way you can give the appearance that you're not drop shipping. Now, the only thing with that, and the reason why I've limited my low ticket stores to one, is because essentially for low ticket now, you have to put in the same amount of branding effort as you do for higher ticket with less return. So if I was starting over, fresh in eCom internet marketing right now in 2018, I'd probably start one general store, low ticket for trends and stuff, and then I'd start one higher ticket store, a niche, like branded higher ticket store for high ticket drop shipping. And then as that gets rolling, I'd try and build up enough capital to eventually start a third store, which would be private labeling your own products.
Yeah, totally. I agree totally that way. And when it comes,
Did you hear that?
Yeah. Are they looking for you or what's going on there?
It might be.
Too much drop shipping.
Yeah.
Well, when it's
product last week, it's still not here.
Yeah, angry customers everywhere. What would I say? All right. When it comes to like also the appearance of your store, what I've found by now is quite helpful. People always say that it's not necessary, but many of these paid themes that cost like 150 or 200 bucks are actually that much more professional than the free ones. And it's not, I don't know if it's because I see the free ones every day 10 times or because they're really better, but I think some of them are really, really good and they make your store appear like I said, 10 times better because they're super clean. They have great designs. And even though many people think it's a waste of money to pay like 180 bucks for a theme, this can be a huge change. Like if you have this really professional theme, everything super clean, like you said, this is what makes your store much, much better already. And if you then go with phone numbers, emails, and also create like a cool About Us page and have the footer, have some trust in the footer, which doesn't mean like just SSL and badge here, but really showing some customer pictures or showing some products, etc. This is really where I think you can increase your conversion rates and get ahead a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I know when it comes to paid themes, even up until this day, everyone's still using Brooklyn theme and everything for the most part. But like you said, I don't know whether it's the fact that I've become jaded to seeing so many of the free themes and stuff. I mean, I don't really think it's the case. I don't really think there's any bias. I think the paid themes do look a lot better and they give you a lot more of a professional, clean look. I mean, I like to think that if something is being sold for, 150 bucks versus something that's being given away for free, typically the product that you have to buy is going to be better. And in most cases, I think it is. I don't use free themes anymore. I haven't in a while. And, maybe if you put it into this perspective, maybe this will help with a lot of people that are doing low tickets. So if, let's say you get on let's just say the fidget spinner comes back and there's like 20 stores selling the fidget spinner. So you're trying to compete with these other 20 stores selling the same product. And if people keep clicking the ads and they keep coming to the stores and they all look exactly the same, they're all just chilling with the Brooklyn theme. I mean, what makes you stand out versus the other stores? Why are they going to buy from you versus any of the other Brooklyn themes stores? So, but if they come to your store and it looks completely different, it looks way more clean, way more professional, that's going to skyrocket the odds that they're going to go ahead and buy from your store. And if you're doing like high ticket or private labeling your own products, I feel like a paid theme is an absolute must, because at that point you need to look like a unique, established brand. Because when it comes to that stuff, no one really wants to. No consumer wants to play the experiment game and like, oh, this company's been around for a month, I'm going to try them out. No, you want to look like you've been around for years and you're already established. So you want to go ahead and start, hitting the ground already running in regards to branding and your site looking really good and stuff. So, I definitely would shy away from free themes, especially Brooklyn, because I see that just too much.
Yeah,
that's just like a big sign that says, "Hello, I'm selling AliExpress products."
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's a big forbidden thing, right? It's like, hey, I'm using Oberlo and I'm doing the 1.5 markup thing and stuff like that. But
you're pretty much just announcing your presence.
Yeah, exactly. 30 days shipping is like the translation of that.
Yeah, they see Brooklyn theme and they just immediately equate, all right, the product won't be here for 2 months.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And especially it's like, for example, a paid advertising campaign can only get you this far, right? So if you cannot break your whole business down to your current campaign, because after people get to your site, then it's the site which has to convert and not the ad anymore. So even if you're the best Facebook advertiser in the world and you get super cheap relevant clicks, it's still the site that has to convert. People won't say, well, I got to the site now and I remember that the ad was so amazing that I have to buy this product. But if they saw an amazing ad and then they land on a Brooklyn store which has like 5,000 badges and pop-ups and banners, they won't think, whoa, this ad was so amazing, I have to buy something. Once the ad brought someone to your store, it's your store that has to convert, and this has to look professional. And like you said, paid themes, for me, it's either paid themes or, well, developer, I don't really think you have to use that. Of course, it's the next step to make it even better. Or the third thing is to use like one of these page builders, Pagefly, Zipify, ClickFunnels, whatever. Especially, I think Pagefly and Zipify are really cool for e-commerce to basically build super dedicated landing pages for your business.
Yeah, for sure. I think anything to just make yourself unique and stand out, because I feel like in business in general, the people that don't change, the people that are unwilling to adapt, always get left behind on the streets, and their business just erupts in flames and goes to shit. And I feel like that's kind of happening in e-com right now. Like the people, the people that rode hot trends or whatever, but weren't really that good at marketing and selling, are kind of getting washed away because people just refuse to accept the fact that what worked in 2016 is no longer effective. Like people still want it to be that easy. Well, it's not. There's no way around it. So you can sit here and keep wishing that it's that easy, or you can just adapt and get better. So that's my takeaway from it is, there's definitely the industry right now, the whole e-com industry, as far as like drop shipping and stuff, is definitely transitioning into a different era. And if you don't, get ahead of it, then you're going to get left behind. And like I said before, low ticket and stuff still works, but I feel like, 2018 might be kind of like, after 2018, I feel like it's going to not even be worth the effort to put it in. So, I like to stay 1, 2, 3 steps ahead of things.
Yep.
So, and I don't expect everyone else to be like the same way, but at the same time, with, both of us having a sizable audience, I feel like, it's almost our duty to let them know that, this may be all right now, but it's not going to be all right for long.
Yes, but exactly. And I think if you wait until the majority is doing it already, then it's the time to change again, right? So if you wait until you are the last one who is doing low ticket drop shipping, and then you go into high ticket, everyone else is into another stuff again because high ticket for some reason probably doesn't work anymore as well. So I think the goal should always be to be one of the first, and not like wait until you really until it becomes 100% clear that it's not working anymore. I think taking a risk and trying something that not that many people did yet is better than waiting until you're 100% sure that it's not working anymore. So I think this is really important. And yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like low ticket has always been like not that it's not like a business model, but it's never been something that's like, long term. Even when I first initially got into it, I never was like, oh, well, in 10 years, I'm still going to be selling crap on AliExpress.
Right.
When you're in business, you always need to be thinking about, all right, well, what's the next stage? What's the next level? So, what I always like to do is I like to use money from one business and funnel it into a bigger one and just kind of keep upping it up and, funnel into businesses that have, higher and higher market caps, you could say.
Yep.
So I feel like when you're moving into like stuff like higher ticket and definitely private labeling, the good thing about those is they have a lot more longevity. So something like private labeling and creating your own products, that's not really like if you view low ticket AliExpress drop shipping, that's more of like a strategy versus a business model.
Yep.
In a sense, it's just like, oh, this works right now. It's a strategy of e-commerce, but it's not really a business model. But private labeling and creating your own products, that's not really a strategy. That's just something that's never going to go away. So if you can work to the pinnacle of eCom, which is doing that, that's never going to go away. You don't have to worry about, oh, is this going to die? I don't know, what's like, if you look at all these big apparel brands that have came out of Shopify over the past couple of years, like the Movement watches and stuff, like people are always going to wear watches. And if they've established a brand, they're just going to keep going until, maybe they can eventually sell their company or, just keep it. And maybe they're trying to compete with Rolex, who knows? But,
Yeah.
But the point is that business model is never really going to go away. And I feel like high ticket drop shipping is sort of a middle ground between the two, where you can really build a solid brand around high ticket products that has a lot of longevity, and you can just make it look like you're not even drop shipping. So that would have a lot of, long-term potential as well, but nothing has more long-term potential than creating your own products and having them private labeled and stuff, and fulfill it on your own and everything. Like that's definitely the pinnacle I feel like everyone should be aiming for if they, actually want to, be a business owner and make money in e-commerce long-term and not have to sell trinkets every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you said it perfectly, like the strategy or the method. Like, hey, my method is doing low ticket. It's like my method of making money is low ticket dropshipping. You don't really say like my business is a low ticket dropshipping store or something. It sounds a little bit strange. Like you said, it's more like a method that I'm doing for 3 months until it doesn't work anymore or something like that, but not something that you can really build on. And as soon as you have a private label store or something like that, you can do so many more things than you could with normal low ticket dropshipping. Because why on earth should you do like branding campaigns if you run a low ticket dropshipping store? Suddenly, if you really have a brand, it makes sense to run, I don't know, branding or awareness campaigns on Facebook and then retarget and all these kind of things, and really get people into your funnel and get influencers to post your stuff, just to get your stuff out there and collect testimonials and probably contact blogs to write about you and all these kind of things that don't really make sense if you sell like low ticket random products. Then you don't put in the effort. But once you can, there are so many things that you can do to get your products out there and to get sales. I think they open totally new strategies and totally new doors to make your sales.
Yeah, and I feel like the gap between how much like branding you have to do and how much marketing and funnel building you have to do for a low ticket store just to profit nowadays versus how much marketing you have to do for high ticket or creating your own products, that gap's closing and closing by the day. So like I said, it's just getting to the point where soon you're going to have to put in the same amount of effort to sell a $20 like blender from AliExpress as you would to sell your own $100 private label product, which at that point, why would you do the former when you can do the latter? Because the latter is probably going to get you a repeat customer too if your product's good.
Yeah.
So like the initial advantage of low ticket was that the barrier to entry was really low. It was the easiest way to get started and learn how e-commerce and selling online works, which it still is the easiest way. But it's not nearly as easy as it was before because the gap between how much marketing you have to do compared to what it was before is a lot smaller. So, I guess the low ticket dream isn't really what it used to be, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the coming months and definitely over the next year or so.
Yeah, I think the low ticket products eventually really are a thing for the bigger stores and the bigger names, especially those commodity like products where it doesn't really matter if you buy it from Amazon or eBay or store A or store B. At some point, it just becomes impossible for a small seller to sell them profitably. So probably all the let's say below $20, below $15 will probably be sold by a certain number of stores. And of course, there will always be new ones who will do it as well. But I think there will be this number of stores and this type of stores and sizes of stores who sell that. And then it comes to, of course, higher ticket ones that a lot of different stores can sell, and branded products that a lot of different stores can sell. But I think this baseline of cheap commodity-like basic products is something that just doesn't really make sense to sell anymore at some point in time, which I think is quite soon, like end of 2018, 2019 or something like that. So
yeah, I agree. And I mean, I'm definitely open to being incorrect. Who knows? It could work for the next 3, 4, 5 years. However, I'm not really, as much as I like to take risk, I'm not taking that gamble. I'd rather go ahead and just go to the, work on the next stage of the game where the ROI is not only higher, but it's also going to sustain longer term. So, I'd rather get out of this fish pond and hop into the bigger one.
Yeah, me too. I also rather go into the next big thing and risk that it probably doesn't work out as I expected, but I still have the chance to achieve something big, compared to staying in here and waiting until there is nothing left anymore. So I think it's only logical to do that step, because sooner or later you won't be able to do it anymore anyway. So if you jump on a trend, this is the thing again, if you jump on a trend right now, you can still make some great sales for a few weeks or months or whatever. But if you see your general store dropshipping thing as your main business, this is definitely something that is going to be shut down at some point in time by 98%.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the biggest takeaway that, anyone watching this video should get is that if you're going to start out, starting out with low ticket is fine, because like I said, if I was starting out, I would have a low ticket general store right now as well. But you need to go in with the mindset that that's more of just a money grab than a long-term business. And one of the biggest things I've learned ever since starting as an entrepreneur at 19 is that quick money grabs are never a bad thing, but they should never be the only thing you're working on. So you should always have, if you're going to do a money grab, then you always need something long-term alongside that you're working on simultaneously, or else you're just going to be endlessly chasing your tail like a dog in circles over and over, never really hitting the next level. So if you do the money grab, you use that money to simultaneously fund a longer-term thing, which is why I think ideally right now having one low-ticket store and then starting a high-ticket store is probably the way to go. And if you have a higher budget, you could literally just hop straight into private labeling.
Yeah, and exactly. And I think here we are back at the very beginning where we talked about having this trend surfing store and another one. So here we are back again. Doing exactly this is probably one of the best strategies that you can do right now, whether you're working with funnels and doing upsells and all these kind of things. What also a lot of people are doing, and what I'm doing as well, is having these funnels for higher ticket products. And then, whether it's with ClickFunnels or Zipify or whatever, they go to the next page, you upsell them some other stuff that goes with it, and then the next page and things like that, really for maximum average order value. But in general, I think just what you said, have this one thing that gets you money continuously, but in the short term and not in the long term, and at the same time build something that's for the long term once the short term thing is not working anymore. So I think this is how you make the balance between, working for 2 years without seeing any results and doing everything just for right now. So I think this is the balance here.
Yeah, absolutely. Striking that balance is definitely huge, because from personal experience, I know what it's like to only go after the short term stuff for, the first 2 years of me being an entrepreneur. And then I'm like, well, what the hell did I do all this for? I'm still in the same spot. I didn't do anything. I didn't build anything that's going to last. And that was one of my biggest mistakes starting out. So you should always, but then again, like you said, no one wants to go 2 years without seeing any progress, you know?
Exactly.
So you have to make a balance between the two. And that's what's great about, you know, the internet marketing in general, especially e-commerce, is you can go for short-term quick money, and as well as building long-term sustainable income sources at the same time. So I think that's definitely the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. And I think these are probably some pretty cool, good, nice words to the audience. Last words, sorry.
Yeah, so before this video drags out too far, I'll probably end it here. And
yeah,
you know, if everyone likes these type of videos, I think we should keep doing them.
Absolutely, for sure.
All right, man. Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on your channel.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right, see you.